Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to the session. All right, so I believe I'm audible and the video is clear to you. Let me just quickly check that one so that later it does not create any problem. So the session is live now and I believe I'm audible. The video is also clear. So as I've mentioned yesterday, if you have seen yesterday's session, there we were talking about that we'll be having another session at 5 p.m. today that will be mostly cornering around how to crack the Indian Overseas Bank LBO examination for 2026 in your first attempt. If you are giving it for the first try, then how to crack that. Okay. So this will be a short session, 10 to 15-minute session where we'll be trying to understand the nitty-gritties of this particular examination and what it will take. So as discussed in the previous session also, if you see the complete syllabus of the examination, है so it is quite vividly evident that the make and break session for your examination will be the GA portion. Why we are saying that? Briefly, I have explained in the previous session also, and today I'll be taking the time to elaborate that also. See, highest amount of marks allocation are from reasoning, computer aptitude plus the DI portion. All right, total 120 marks out of 200 marks we have discussed yesterday that they are coming from these particular two sections. All right. So what you have to do now? Firstly, you have to start solving the previous year question paper. When you go to the previous year question paper, try to solve them in the given time period. Yani ki the total timeline for your, if you're solving the reasoning computer aptitude section from the PYPs, then you should take not more than 60 minutes. It should be less than 60 minutes. Whatever you are able to solve, you have to try that in 60 minutes. And do not try to do the guesswork. ठीक है ना? Guesswork for certain questions where we are partially sure, that is good enough. That is a fair thing to do. All right. But for the questions about which we are not sure at all, we are totally blank, do not try to attempt that because there is a 0.25 marks negative that will be penalized if you are giving the wrong answers. So the idea is to make it sure that we are selecting the correct answer. If we are partially sure, partially not sure, if we are willing to take the risk, if we are 60% sure that this should be the correct answer according to our preparation, then you should go with it. But if you are totally going like, let's do one tick here, the second tick here, mark B on in one question, mark C as a right answer in the second question, that is going to be quite lethal. So do not try to do it. Just a second. Yeah, voice is audible. I thought it is not audible. So firstly, get ready with the PYPs, correct? And try to solve them in the given designated time period. That will be your first step for preparation. Now, I believe a lot of students who are appearing for the IOB LBO, at least 50% plus individuals are non-working professional because working professional criteria is not required here. If you are not having any past work experience, then also you are eligible for the examination. So I believe at least 50% of the candidates will be there, those who are not preparing. Okay? Those who are not working, not preparing, those who are not working. So what you have to do, at least try to give 1 hour to each section if you are not working professional. If you have good amount of time, try to devote at least 4 hours a day, 1 hour to each of these sections, and try to make a timetable. Try to make a timetable. You can have a pair of English and reasoning computer aptitude for the morning practice session. In the morning, if you can get 2 hours, in the afternoon, if you can get 2 hours, that is going to be quite beneficial. And you can pair up the DI portion with the banking awareness and the general economy general awareness portion. So this can be your timeline. For example, let me take a blank if there's a blank page. Let's suppose in your entire 24-hour time period, if you are not working professional, try to fetch at least 4 hours. In the first 2 hours, you can combine. Acha, combination can be according to your convenience because I have seen a lot of students do prefer solving the reasoning and computer aptitude with English. So that's why I'm mentioning it. If you have a different priority, if you have a different liking towards a combination, then that's a totally separate thing. So reasoning computer aptitude plus English awareness or English knowledge can be given the first 2 hours in the you can say morning shift. Okay? Because you have to do a lot of mental exertion here for these type of things compared to the other two sections. So try to give the early time period of the day to these questions. In the morning, our mind is mostly fresh, we are not tired, we are not stressed, correct? Towards the end, it's a different story. So the later 2 hours of the day, you have to combine the DI portion with the general awareness and the banking awareness or the general economy portion. GA portion and the banking awareness portion, they are not very much thought provoking. There are certain statement based questions which might be trickier for you, but most of the practice questions that you are going to solve, they are going to be quite straightforward. So they are not going to be overwhelming for your mind, correct? Either you know the answer or you do not know the answer. If it is asking who has been appointed to this particular position, on the government has started this Samudra Manthan scheme with a massive outlet of this much thing, what it is all about. So you are not going to think about it or to solve it like a numerical problem. You either know it or you do not know it, correct? Certain statement based questions can be problematic where you have to apply a little and do the recalling of the correct points, but mostly it is more relaxing. So it is better towards the later time period. Have your evening meal or evening snack, and after that, try to sit for at least 2 hours, 2.5 hours to solve this particular English knowledge and the DI. Practice kit, you have to try to solve as many as possible, but the starting has to be first from the PYP. Try to take out the past few papers and try to check your level. Are you well versed with the general awareness? The questions that, there also you have to fetch only the banking awareness and the general economy related question or the static GK related question. Current affair of last year is not going to be relevant. It is common sense. It is not going to be relevant this particular year. So you are not going to practice from the PYP the current affairs. You have to fetch and select the banking awareness portion, the static GK portion, the general economy related portion. If there is a question related to the insurance, if there is a question related to any important financial terminology, try to fetch. Before solving, before even starting the clock, try to select what are those number of questions. Let us suppose last year, if out of total number of 30 questions of general awareness, banking awareness, if there were around 12 questions, or let us suppose hypothetical number 15 questions, which were related to static banking awareness, which does not change from year to year. Remaining 15 were current affair, which is not relevant this particular year, correct? So you will be also reducing the time period. For example, you are getting 30 minutes for solving nearly these 40 questions. Let us suppose these 40 questions are there in the general awareness portion, and 20 questions out of that is your banking awareness, general awareness, all these static portion. So try to reduce the time period also. You have to try to solve these static questions, these 20 questions within a time period of 15 minutes. And you have to then check your accuracy. Were your answers accurate enough? Correct? Were you able to solve all the 20 questions within the given time period or not? So that's how you are going to get a good idea of where you are standing. For the current affairs, you have to appear the mocks. Correct? As many as practice kits or mocks, if you are already enrolled in the IOB batch of the Oliveboard, which we have recently launched, then it is a good thing. We are going to have the sessions practice, at least 10 sessions we are keeping it live, which is starting from 17th onwards. All right. So those who are already enrolled in our program from 17th of August, if I'm not wrong, it is Monday, I think. Okay, next Monday only. From next Monday, we are having the separate session for the IOB, and total 10 practice kit we are going to solve within, I think, 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. That will be our attempt. Correct? So either if you are part of the batches, then that's a quite good opportunity. If you are not part of the batches, if anywhere you can get the mock questions, practice questions, try to solve them. Try to solve as many as questions as possible. Regarding current affairs, one thing that I have noticed, which will be, I'll be sharing the inputs in tomorrow's session also. Tomorrow's session is basically about current affair questions or the GA questions which were being asked in the previous year. So we'll be doing a detailed analysis, but in short, I can give you a glimpses that this particular year, like the questions which are going to be asked are going to be even dynamic than the last year. Last year pattern was quite evident. Unlike the level is usually of the IBPS PO only. The level of this LBO examination of Indian Overseas Bank, it is for the GA portion I'm talking about. It is going to be very much identical to the IBPS PO examination. But what is going to be the major difference? Major difference is going to be that questions are quite scattered and quite random. In most of the examinations which regularly occurs and there are good amount of vacancies, a lot of students do appear. For example, even if it is SBI clerk, PO, or even for that matter, PNB LBO examination, PSB LBO examination, you will clearly see that there is a trajectory. The national, international, banking related information, banking related questions जो है, the current affairs, they are prioritized. They are prioritized. Correct? Whereas in the IOB LBO examination, you will see the questions are quite random and disconnected. All right. So if there are 40 questions, and out of those 40 questions, there are, let's suppose, 25 current affairs. Those 25 current affairs can be totally from dynamic set of universe. So the predictability aspect is quite low. And that is why the trick that we use in most of the other examination, that the highest amount of focus has to be, the top priority has to be in the past 2 months, and the second priority will be past 100 days, and the third priority will be past 200 days. That is what we basically do in most of the other examination. It is something like this, that the 60 days, let me scroll it here. The last 60 days before the examination are the topmost priority. Okay, a lot number of questions will be asked from the current affair from this particular window. Second priority is 100 days, past 100 days. At least 75% of the questions will come from the past 100 days. And the last 200 days, yani if we increase the other 100 days, total of 6.5 months, almost everything will be covered. There will be very little amount of questions which are not going to be asked or which are going to be asked beyond the 6.5 month window. So your priority has to be like this, correct? The window has to be quite broader as compared to the other examination, because questions are comparatively more random, as we see in the previous year paper. Secondly, reasoning computer aptitude, as we have said, as many as question if you can solve on various topics. In fact, from the topics which you see are mostly repeated in the previous year question, that will be quite important. All right. Acha. At times, there is a one very useful trick that you can employ in the practicing part, or in the while you are solving the PYPs, is try to integrate even the related topic. For example, if a particular thing has been asked in the examination, try to think from the option or from the question that has been framed, what alternative set of question can be asked which is quite very related to this particular thing. Let us suppose in the classes, in the live classes or in the mock, you have practiced one particular question of reasoning, quant, etc. Correct? You have practiced something of, let's suppose, reasoning or DI. Now in the examination, you have a related question, but it is differently asked. Correct? Try to think related to that particular question, what else can be asked from this particular place? What else can be asked from this particular place? So that will be helping you a lot. You will be trying to think as the examiner is probably thinking. Correct? You will be thinking like the examiner. So that is going to help you a lot. As I mentioned in the last session, the English knowledge and the general awareness will be quite massively helpful for you, because human psychology will largely focus upon these two areas, which will give you 60 marks each. That is the DI portion and the reasoning computer aptitude portion. English knowledge and the GA portion, a lot of people are going to, they are not going to ignore it. We cannot say they are going to ignore it, but it will be probably the second priority. So you have to capitalize. You have to make it sure that in your preparation strategy, if the first half of the day you are giving to the RC and the DI, the second half of the day has to be, equal amount of time has to be devoted to the general awareness and the English knowledge, specifically the general awareness. English knowledge is mostly static. All right. So if you have good command, more or less you are going to solve the things. You are going to get good marks. But for the portion of the this general awareness, current affairs specifically, things are dynamic. Whatever you have prepared in the beginning of the year, or whatever you have prepared, for example, by the end of last year, that is not going to be relevant or very much helpful for you. So this has to be your priority. Acha, those of you who are willing to be part of the batches, because we are, as I've mentioned, that Oliveboard is already going to start. We have already scheduled from 17th of August, we have scheduled 10 practice kit come mock paper. All right. So if you are willing to be part of this particular journey, you can definitely either take the Banking Super Elite program or the separate IOB LBO batches. Okay, both has its own perk. If you only are appearing this year for the IOB LBO, then a single batch is enough for you. But if you are going to prepare for a lot of examination, because SBI clerk vacancies has already been notified, and a lot of vacancies are there from the southern part of India. Okay, here also the vacancies are mostly from Tamil Nadu. All these southern states are there mostly, and in the SBI clerk also you'll see that 1,700 vacancies from Maharashtra and nearly 1,400 vacancies are there from Tamil Nadu. So the journey is just beginning. We are in the beginning of the journey, not the end of the journey. All the examinations are coming one by one. There will be a lot of notification. Almost half a dozen notification by the end of the year are supposed to come. Okay, various LBO examination, important ones I am talking, not the minor ones I am talking. So if you are only preparing for IOB LBO, then definitely you can join the IOB LBO batches. 10 practice kit, we are starting from Monday itself, and PYP will be also in focus, correct? If you are preparing for other examinations side by side, then Banking Super Elite is going to be one-stop solution because you get access to almost all the banking examination that exist. Okay, plus mock test, practice test, AI integration, everything will be provided to you. One very important thing that I have mentioned in the last YouTube session also, if you are already part of Banking Super Elite, do not avoid the Super Elite practice kit already. All right, because here you can select your subject. After selecting the subject, you can select the topic. After selecting the topic, you can select the level at which you are. For example, currently SBI clerk notification came out. So if you are preparing for SBI clerk, you can solve the clerk prelims or the clerk mains level examination questions rather than focusing on random questions here and there. So those who are part of it, definitely try to utilize that. If you are not already joined on our Telegram community, this is our Telegram community. Let me just, I think it is clearly visible. So you can scan the QR code and you will be able to join it. You can type the name also. Okay. So this was our strategy, what you have to follow. Focus has to be in the beginning of the day. You have to prioritize the RC and the DI portion. 2 or 2.5 hours if you are not a working professional. If you are a working professional, try to allocate at least 4 to 5 hours on the weekend. If you are a working professional, because the requirement is not there in the IOB LBO examination. You are not required to be a working professional. And that is why I'm expecting at least 50% of the candidates, they will be non-working professional also, correct? But if you are a working professional, try to capitalize on the weekend time period. On the weekdays, what you can do, if after your work, you can get at least 1 hour or 1 hour, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, try to divide that alternatively for various sections. For example, let's suppose today it is Thursday. So Thursday ko you practice the RC related PYPs, and if you have the access to the mock papers as well, correct? Friday ko you go and move ahead with the DI portion. Like this, on the next day, English knowledge, so 90 minutes at least you can allocate. If you can devote more than this, it is quite good. But if you cannot devote more than 90 minutes, at least try to devote 90 minutes to these portions. On the weekend for the working professional, it is going to be the most important day. Try to divide the day in 2.5 hour session. 2.5 hour in the morning to the RCA plus English knowledge combo, and 2.5 hour in the evening to the DI and the GA portion, correct? Have a clock in front of you. Try to see if you are able to complete it within the duration that is mentioned here. For RCA, do not take more than 60 minutes, correct? After you have done, try to do the evaluation. You can take the help of AI also. Try to see if your accuracy was good enough or not. And that is why we say that there is one reason why you should opt for the online batches, because even if you are solving the previous question, the proper analysis is not possible without expert guidance. So that is one thing that I definitely recommend. So if you are willing, you should definitely, if you are appearing for the examination, you should definitely join the batches, the live classes where practice kit, AI evaluation, everything is basically being integrated, correct? Chaliye. So this I'll take the leave, the PDF of this particular session, although there is no much important thing that we have added here on the slide. But if you want to access it, you can go on the Oliveboard application and you can find it on the YouTube section, correct? Thank you very much for joining in. Have a nice day. All the best for your preparation for IOB LBO. Tomorrow 5 p.m. the third session we are having, which will be mostly about what? Basically about the GA question which was asked in the past year. So that is going to be more important. In the strategy to strategy is very different for each of you. But the previous year question, what has been asked and what is going to be asked, expected type of question, we are going to discuss that tomorrow 5 p.m. So do not forget, try to switch on the notification. The video is already linked on our YouTube channel.